Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is Mike Bass back again with another forecast update for you for this September the 21st, 2023. I'm hoping everybody's having a great Thursday out there so far. Everybody has a great Thursday afternoon. Everybody continue to stay safe and well, and also enjoy the weather because it's the only weather you got. Okay, in today's video, we're going to be talking about which is tropical cyclone number 16, which will become subtropical storm Ophelia, then becomes full-blown tropical storm as it moves toward the outer between Wilmington, North Carolina, make landfall somewhere in that region coming up towards Saturday. Also, we're going to take a look at Nigel, which is exiting stage right out in the Atlantic. And also, we're going to take a look at here, which has a 70% chance of development over the next 7 days, which looks to become tropical storm Philippe sometime over the weekend or early next week. So, and then we got more tropical waves we'll be watching as well. Also, we got some activity over the Caribbean Sea, bringing some heavy rain for portions of the Leeward Island. Here's another little system here, getting a little act together. Have to watch it to make sure it don't become anything tropical as well. Also, we got some activity down in Central America. Also, along the eastern Pacific Ocean, we have tropical storm or Hurricane Kenneth over in the Eastern Pacific. And also we have some tropical activity, some scattered showers and storms over portions of South America as that continues to push on off to the east. Alright. Alrighty. Just want to let everybody know, if you have not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and consider subscribing. Hit that subscribe button today before you leave this video. Also like these videos, share these videos. And also, let's go ahead and get the show on the road here, folks. And we're going to go ahead and soon start talking about what is Subtropical Storm 16 and also Ophelia. So let's go ahead and get the show on the road here, folks. We're going to discuss the tropics. And now we're going to take a look at the satellite imagery of post-tropical cyclone 16, which will become Ophelia later today. Alright, as you can see, here's the center of circulation starting to get its act together here in this region right here, most to the north. I would not be surprised this thing could even reach a hurricane status before it reached the Outer Banks of North Carolina, because it's got to cross the Gulf Stream, which is located about where it's at now, or just a little bit to the west. So as soon as it gets over that Gulf Stream waters, it could blow up into a small hurricane. I would not be surprised to see that happen as well. All right. So here's that. Let's move on to the 5-day forecast cone. This is from the National Hurricane Center. 11 p.m. advisories located right here in this vicinity here. These two here, this is a subtropical cyclone activity. This is through 8 a.m. Friday morning. By Friday p.m. it's here. Saturday morning 8 p.m. like I said, see there's Wilmington, North Carolina, the Outer Banks. They got it going into the Outer Banks, but I would not be surprised to see it maybe make a little bit back, a jog back to the west there, possibly there, and then move on into North Carolina, and then move on out into the coastal waters of the northeastern United States. So it may bring some heavy, it's supposed to bring some flooding to portions of New Hampshire all the way through eastern North Carolina, maybe even portions of the Grand Strand region of South Carolina as well. The Climate Prediction Center and also the Weather Prediction Center has also issued that outlook as well for heavy rainfall from around the Grand Strand region of South Carolina through eastern North Carolina, Virginia, all the way up towards the Connecticut and Massachusetts region, and also the New York City area as well for heavy rainfall in that vicinity. Alright, if you're tracking this system at home, it's located in latitude 28.7 north, longitude 75.9 west, maximum sustained winds near 35 miles an hour with higher gusts. Moving is to the north at 9 miles per hour. Right now it's classified as a tropical depression with winds of less than 39 miles per hour. Alright, now we're going to try to get back and take a look at some computer models, and then we're going to go in. Let's see. Still waiting to see what this here will do here. Alright, let's see. If we can go back. Maybe I can get some, maybe I can pull up some information from go in a different system. It's continued to race on off to the northeast. As you can see, it shouldn't be too much longer. Nigel should be out of the way there. So, alright, let's see if we can get some information on Nigel, since I can't pull up that other information on it. Let's take a look at the forecast cone. I might get it another way. Let me get rid of that since it's acting up. But anyway, here's the forecast cone for Nigel. Wind field is pretty large here. You can see here's the tropical storm force wind in yellow, orange, hurricane force wind. Remains a hurricane later on today, 8 a.m. in the morning, just a post-tropical cyclone. Hurricane winds of 74 to 110 miles per hour. Alright, let's take a look at the forecast cone here of this system. I mean the track, the Spaghetti-O model, excuse me. Alright, here's the current position of the storm. Well compacted all the way through about 48 hours. Should be up in this vicinity here, just kind of meander. But here's Iceland here. I would not be surprised you get affected by Nigel with some gusty winds and some heavy rainfall in your portion of the world. Alright, now let's take a look at the intensity guidance of Nigel. Here is the intensity guidance, about 75 knot winds equal up to 80 miles per hour. And there it is on the decline and moving back into a tropical cyclone. Should be just a post-tropical cyclone and kind of just remain a post-tropical storm through 168 hours out. Alright. Now, let's see if we can pull up that information on post-tropical cyclone 16. Since it would not work the other way, I'm gonna try it this way. Let's take a look at the GEF ensembles, because the other hurricane models only had one model, so I'm not even gonna worry about that. Alright, most of the models takes it to the kind of to the northwest, then back to the northeast, and bend it back to the kind of to the northwest. This is about where the Hurricane Center got it here, going by this model. But I would not be surprised to see that maybe bend back to the west, because there is a good many members to the west, a good many to the east, but it could bend back to the west just a little bit, depending on the strength of this high pressure system expected to anchor down over a portion of the Atlantic coastal waters here in the northeast. That could shove it back a little bit to the west. That's why I want some of the models are bringing it back over here just north of Wilmington, North Carolina. That's why I'm saying anywhere from Wilmington to the Outer Banks. That's where this storm could make landfall at any time. Alright, let's take a look at the intensity guidance of this system. Alright, you can see we got about 20, where that black line there is the, where according to this is 25 knots. About 30 knot winds, so they equal up 35 miles per hour. All of them takes it into a tropical storm. There's one model takes into a category 1. That's why I said it's a possibility, because the wind speed is supposed to reach up about 60 miles per hour before it makes landfall. But like I said, if it gets over that Gulf waters, it could move up into a category 1 hurricane. So I would not be surprised to see that as well. Alright, that's your tropical update. Sorry about the little glitches in the system. But let's take a look at the watches, warning, and advisory map and perspective of this video. Alright, as you can see, they already got tropical storm warnings along the coastal waters, out in the coastal waters here. Tropical storm watches from near Charleston, South Carolina, all the way up to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Then we got from the Myrtle Beach, well, from Horry County, county line there, all the way up into portions of the Washington, D.C., New Jersey region. We have a tropical storm warning in effect from, like I said, from just north of Myrtle Beach all the way up to New Jersey, almost almost up to New Jersey, and also into the Wakefield, Virginia region of Virginia. Alright, also we have some special weather statements, also some fire weather watches for portions of Michigan, same over here in portions of Colorado. Also, we have some flood advisories over portions of Nebraska, air quality alert for you guys in Minnesota, also in the central portion of California. Also, we have some freeze watches in effect for Wyoming, winter weather advisory for you guys in portion of Montana, southern Montana, portion of Idaho. Wind advisory is also in effect for you guys in Montana, eastern Montana, western Montana, southern California as well. Red flag warnings in effect for northern California. Still got those special weather statements for northern Alaska. Gale warnings around portions of the coastal areas there as well. Central and south of Hawaii and Chain Island. Gale warnings to the south, north, central and north looks A-OK at this time. Alright, now we're going to move on to the Storm Prediction Center Outlook. This should be today's Outlook. Alright, as you can see, we got general thunderstorm from portions of the Outer Banks of North Carolina, through South Carolina, down into Georgia, through the Big Bend area of Florida, Florida Panhandle, down to the Florida Keys, and also around the Miami area as well. Also in the portion of Texas, back to New Mexico, all the way back to Nevada and California, all the way up to Montana, through Minnesota, Wisconsin, also in Illinois, portion of Indiana, Kentucky. We have a marginal risk from Montana back into Texas, slight risk over Texas and Oklahoma, same over portion of Kansas and Nebraska as well for today. Alright, if you live in Dallas, Texas, Fort Worth, Texas, Arlington, Texas, Plano, Texas, Garland, Texas, slight risk for severe weather this afternoon. If you live in El Paso, Texas, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Kansas City, Missouri, Omaha, Nebraska, and Tuscaloosa, Oklahoma, a marginal risk for severe weather today. Alright, tornado probability, the highest percent is over here in portions of Kansas and also into Nebraska, 5% there, 2% there as well. 2% over Oklahoma and Texas. Alright, if you live in Canary, Nebraska, North Platte, Nebraska, Lexington, Nebraska, and surrounding areas, 5% risk for a tornado this afternoon. Also, if you live in Dallas, Texas, Plano, Texas, Garland, Texas, Irving, Texas, and Carlton, Texas, 2% risk for a tornado as well in the marginal risk area. Alright, damaging winds. Alright, the damaging winds and hail is pretty much the same thing. So we're just going to go ahead and go with the significant area for large hail and damaging winds. This will include Canary, Nebraska, North Platte, Nebraska, Lexington, Nebraska. 15% risk. This includes Dallas, Texas, Fort Worth, Texas, Arlington, Texas, Plano, Texas, Garland, Texas. 5% include El Paso, Texas, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Kansas City, Missouri, Omaha, Nebraska, and Tuscaloosa, Oklahoma. 5% risk for large hail. And like I said, the damaging winds pretty much the same areas from Dallas, Texas to Garland, Texas, 15% risk area. El Paso, Texas to Tuscaloosa, Oklahoma is a 5% risk for large hail, damaging winds this afternoon. Alright, let's take a look at your Friday forecast. Alright, you can see here is the general thunderstorm for portions of the Outer Banks of North Carolina down to the Florida region, down to the Florida Keys, also down to Louisiana, Texas area, all the way back up to Montana, Minnesota, Wisconsin, northern Michigan. We have a slight risk and a marginal risk over portions of South Dakota and Kansas. Nebraska. Marginal risk in Kansas all the way back into South Dakota as well. Alright, if you live in Grand Island, Nebraska, Canary, Nebraska, North Platte, Nebraska, Norfolk, Nebraska, Hastings, Nebraska, slight risk for severe Omaha, Nebraska, Lincoln, Nebraska, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Topeka, Kansas, Sioux City, Iowa. Marginal risk for severe weather on Friday. The tornado probability is 2%. This includes Lincoln, Nebraska, Grand Island, Nebraska, Canary, Nebraska, North Platte, Nebraska, and Norfolk, Nebraska, and portions of South Dakota as well. Alright, damaging winds. We have 5% in brown, 15 in the yellow. If you live in Norfolk, Nebraska, Columbus, Nebraska, 15% risk for damaging winds, 5% area. This includes Omaha, Nebraska, Lincoln, Nebraska, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Topeka, Kansas, and Sioux City, Iowa for damaging winds. Let's take a look at the large hail. Pretty much same areas, Grand Island, Nebraska to Hastings, Nebraska and surrounding areas. 5% includes Omaha, Nebraska to Sioux City, Iowa and surrounding areas as well. Alright, now we're going to take a look at the Saturday forecast. Outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. Alright, you can see here we got general thunderstorms along the Outer Banks of North Carolina all the way up to portions of the Washington, D.C. area, South Florida, Florida Key, Louisiana, Texas, all the way up to the Dakotas, portions of Montana, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. Alright, we have a marginal risk in it from Texas all the way up to Minnesota into the Dakotas. Also a slight risk in it from Minnesota back into Oklahoma. Alright, if you live in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Kansas City, Missouri, Omaha, Nebraska, Tuscaloosa, Oklahoma, Wichita, Kansas, slight risk for severe weather on Saturday. Alright, marginal risk. This includes Dallas, Texas, Fort Worth, Texas, Memphis, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Arlington, Texas, St. Paul, Minnesota. Marginal risk for severe weather. The probability, 5% in brown, 15% in the yellow, pretty much same areas. Oklahoma City to Wichita, Kansas. You're in the 15% risk area and surrounding areas. If you're under a 5% risk for severe weather on Saturday. Alright, sorry about some of the glitches in the system, but we got through the forecast anyway. So hope everybody enjoyed it. Hope everybody continue to stay safe and well. Also enjoy the weather because it's the only weather you got. Like these videos, share these videos, consider subscribe if you have not, and we'll catch you back in the next video. So have a wonderful, wonderful Thursday afternoon, folks. Take care.